Good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
Welcome to Genesis Center for Spiritual Living. Please stand and sing our opening song, I Am Choosing Heaven Today.
I'm choosing heaven today. I'm choosing heaven today. I am walking the road to heaven right now, singing I'm choosing heaven today. Heaven, I'm choosing heaven today. I'm choosing heaven today. I am walking the road to heaven right now, singing I'm choosing heaven today. How about joy? Joy today, joy. I'm choosing joy today. I am walking the road to heaven right now, singing I'm choosing joy today. I choose abundance today. I choose abundance today. I am walking the road to abundance right now, singing I choose abundance today. Okay, we have to do that one again. And we're gonna, yeah. It's abundance, so get moving. There you go. Choose abundance today. Perfect. Love today. I'm choosing love today. I am walking the road of love right now, singing I'm choosing love today. I'm choosing heaven today. I'm choosing heaven today. I am walking the road of heaven right now, singing I'm choosing heaven today. I am walking the road of heaven right now, singing I'm choosing heaven
We have a good group of singers this morning. I am so glad that you're all here with us this morning and chose to spend this morning with us, whether you're singing or dancing or just sitting in your chair. We're happy that you are here. My name is Cynthia Zink, and I am a spiritual practitioner here at Genesis, and I will be your host for today. Our online host is Eric. Thank you, Eric. If you're watching on Facebook, please say hello to everyone in the comments, share your reactions, and make a connection. So now it's time for our prosperity proclamation. Today we launch, well, it isn't today. We are in the middle of our season of prosperity, a time to live in the flow of divine abundance. Our theme, A Rising Tide Lifts All Boats, reminds us that prosperity is not just a spiritual flow of good in our lives. Our giving lifts us to new heights and helps our whole community rise. Please join me in speaking our prosperity vision aloud. We come together to create a rising tide that lifts us all. And so our announcements for today. Boy, this microphone is hard to hold and talk at the same time. Somebody told me that I might forget that I don't have a phone in my hand and it could start going like this. Today after our service, join us for a MANDALA GONG sound bath with Stephanie Wood. We will start at approximately 11:45 and go until 1:30 right here in Studio 620. This relaxing sound meditation will feature gongs and other instruments to help you unwind and renew your energy. A love offering is appreciated. Proceeds support our ministry's vision during this season of commitment. We will need all hands to set up and break down for this event after the service. So just a reminder, if you didn't write yourself a name tag, there are name tags back here at the coffee table, stand. Yes, there we go. Coffee hutch, that's it. Coming this winter to Genesis for Spiritual Living, we have a class called Visioning, a Way of Life. Join our licensed practitioners, Randy Singer and Christine S. Young, for a 6-week journey into the spiritual practice of visioning, an inspiring process that helps you discover clarity, purpose, and a deeper connection with spirit. Classes will meet on Tuesday evenings, beginning January 13th through February 17th from 7 to 10. If on January 13th you want to celebrate my birthday, that would be okay too. You'll learn practical tools to live from your highest vision and create a life that truly reflects your spiritual nature. Tuition is $220 with an early registration discount of only $190 if you sign up by January 4th. To ensure the class runs, please register no later than January 11th. Visit genesiscsl.org to register. Northern Lights is inviting Genesis to join them in providing Thanksgiving meals for 6 families in need. With SNAP cuts and less nonprofit funding, our communities need each other more than ever to ensure no one goes hungry. Even $3 or $5 helps. Donation methods are listed at the welcome table. Please donate by November 23rd. You will find a pledge card with your prayer card today. So if you haven't pledged for 2026, you have still time to fill that out today. Your pledge is a powerful tide of abundance that carries Genesis to greater heights. Join us regularly on the first Thursday of every month on Zoom for our Love Visioning. That opens us up to divine guidance beyond our limited thinking, allowing Spirit to reveal possibilities greater than we could imagine on our own. We have just done that this past Thursday, and it was a delightful group of 6 people, and we had a great time and made lots of good connections with each other and lots of good ideas for Genesis. We will not have the book study after service today because of the sound bath. And we still have 5 Brown Bear charity car wash tickets left at the welcome table. Pick one up for only $12, redeem it at any Brown Bear location, and support our center at the same time. Our entertainment for today is provided by Christy Randolph. So I don't think we have any first-time guests here with us in our location. Is there anybody online, Eric? Okay. We are glad those of you that are here. No, they've been here before. That's right. So now is the time for our meet and greet. We've welcomed all our guests. Let us welcome and greet one another. If you aren't comfortable with hugging, we are a hugging community. Just stick out your hand and we'll shake it. Or namaste hands are a good choice for contactless greeting. You may stay seated if you prefer not to mingle. Rose is our practitioner sitting vigil today, and she remains seated, holding the community consciousness of love and support. So you can just bypass Rose. So it is now time to get up and mingle. I would like to take this time to thank everyone that is in service today. For those of you that helped set up, that would be Gideon and Reverend Rose and Eric and Jim and Mike. And I threw in a 2 minutes worth. And Christy and Reverend James helped today too. They came early enough and got to help us set up. So thank you all for that time. We're so grateful for those who do show up early to help us set up on Sunday mornings. And we could not pull it all together without all of you. If you would like to be a part of the Genesis service team, please connect with Gideon after the service or inquire at the welcome table. So if you would now remain seated and join in singing our centering song, Breathe and Turn Within.
I breathe and turn within. I breathe and turn within. I open up my heart, feel God's presence. I breathe and turn within. I breathe and turn within. I open up my heart and feel God's love. I breathe and turn within. I breathe and turn within. I open up my heart and feel God's presence. I breathe and turn within. I breathe and turn within. I open up my heart and feel God's love. I pray and turn within. I pray and turn within. I open up my heart and feel God's presence. I pray and turn within. I pray and turn within. I open up my heart and feel God's love. I sing and turn within. I sing and turn within. I open up my heart and feel God's presence. I sing and turn within. I sing and turn within. I open up my heart and feel God's love. I open up my heart, feel God's love. I open up my heart and feel God's love.
And so now that we are centered, we're going to take the time to continue that breathing within. And I will hit the gong 3 times and have an inspirational reading, and then we will go into prayer. The reading that I've chosen today came to me in an email this week. And it's sort of based on a reading from Ernest Holmes in Can We Talk to God? But then it refers to the theme for the day, the beneathness. And the reading from Ernest Holmes is, "But the person who goes deeply into their own nature will find that God speaks in a language more subtle than the human language, without a tongue, in that universal language of spiritual emotion, which is instinctive in humanity and in brute, and held in common by all civilization, by all creation, by all people who have lived, the universal language of emotion, sense, feeling, intuition, and instinct. Sometimes we call it conscience, sometimes we call it a hunch, sometimes we call it a vision or a dream. It makes no difference what we call it. It is a direct revelation of omniscience through us." And the author goes on, the author of the email, "I sometimes forget the sage wisdom of Ernest Holmes until I stumble upon a passage like this, something I may have read before, but somehow missed. His words are both mystical and deeply practical. Reading this again today, I realized I had no memory of the quote, and yet it feels brand new and achingly familiar at the same time. That's the beauty of spiritual growth. We meet again and again, each time with new eyes, a new heart, a new awareness." Holmes reminds us that beneath the words, beneath the personalities and differences, there's a shared language, the universal current of emotion, sense, feeling, intuition, and instinct. It's the pulse of God expressing through all creation. And maybe that's what it means to love the unlikable, to look past the surface of behavior or belief and listen for the beneathness, that subtle divine language within every soul. When I pause long enough to hear it, judgment softens, compassion rises, love expands. The practice, of course, is not always easy. It asks us to sit in discomfort, to breathe through irritation, to remember that every person, yes, even the ones who push our buttons, is an expression of the infinite. To love the unlikable doesn't mean to condone harm or ignore boundaries. It means we seek to understand the divine spark beneath the behavior. That's the work of consciousness, and it's the heart of spiritual maturity. Today, I begin a new journey of self-discovery, a 13-month mentorship program exploring multiple modalities of spirituality and healing. When asked what my intention was, I said, to become an open channel for God, to be a safe space where others may discover their own divinity. For me, it's like jumping off the edge of my comfort zone and free-falling into the abyss, trusting that the universal language of the divine will guide me as I build my net on the way down. That's faith in action. The willingness to live from the beneathness, trusting the unseen currents of spirit to hold and guide me. That's the invitation of the beneathness, to dwell in the depths where God still whispers beyond words, beyond reason, beyond resistance. Today, may we choose to listen beneath the noise and remember the universal language of love. Reverend Gail Dillon. So now if you would join me in prayer. I recognize that one power, that one presence that I know as God, the source of all that is good, that good which has no opposite, the source of everything that we experience in life, that goodness that we experience, the love that we experience, the time that we experience in our spiritual practice, the time that we spend with our friends, with our family, with those who we spend time with in spiritual community, knowing that that community is all that we need, because it is all God. And it is from this place of Godness now that I claim for each and every one of us here this morning, each and every one that hears my voice later on, that sits with the Spirit, that sits in that place of beneathness, knowing that God is always there, that is there to guide us, to guard us, to love us, to give us the peace and calm that we need when times are chaotic, to give us whatever is ours to spend time with, to go deeper with, knowing that love is all there is. And it is from this place of love that I am deeply grateful, knowing that life is gracious, that life is peaceful and joyful, and that life is love. And I release my words into the power and the action of the law, knowing that the law has said yes to all of this and more. And I know that all is well and that all is good, and so it is. Amen. And now we have beautiful music from Matt and Becky.
When the road is long and the mountain is high and all my courage has run dry, I look to the sea. That's where you speak to me as I pray, as I wait for peace to come. Hear me now. I want to believe. I need to believe. Give me the strength I need to believe. And when my soul is aching from the weight of all my fears, as I surrender, I believe. Look at my life and cry a sad, sad tear for all the things I never did because of fear. But in this moment, in your presence, I can feel the power. It's been waiting here inside of me. Hear me now. I want to believe. I need to believe. Give me the strength I need to believe. And when my soul is aching from the weight of all my fear, as I surrender, I believe I can fly. As I surrender, I forgive. As I release and learn to love, and I can fly so I want to believe. I need to believe. Give me the strength I need to believe. And when my soul is rising from the weight of all my tears, as I surrender, as I surrender, I believe. I believe.
I believe too. I believe in music. I believe in Genesis. I believe, our evolutionary purpose is to transform lives and inspire people to make a positive difference in the world. And Ernest Holmes always talked about being open at the top. So we can walk in the worlds, we can walk simultaneously in the world of heaven and earth. We can take care of poetry and plumbing. We make sure we've got everything handled. This month, we're talking about things that aren't out in the open necessarily, things that we don't see in the light but have a profound impact on us. And so let's look at this. Let's say this together. I trust the beneathness within me where my strength and stability lie. One more time. I trust the beneathness within me where my strength and stability lie. And so this whole month, we're looking at things that aren't obvious, that we haven't been seeing before. Last week, for example, we talked about likes and dislikes, attachments and aversions, and we learned about how not to be too attracted to things, not to be addicted to things that we like so much that we need to have just them, or how maybe not to be so aversive to things that we dislike, but that we can still allow them to exist in our world. We also learned about, we did a Myrtle Fillmore body scan, a body scan so that we can, this was a method Myrtle Fillmore used to cure her tuberculosis. By every night, she would go to each of her organs in her body and thank it for doing such a great job and love it. And this is actually one of my favorite ways. When I can't sleep, it's nice to go through my body. It's just a fun practice. Let's go to the next slide because we are going to talk about Pamela Grout. Pamela Grout wrote Thank and Grow Rich. And in Thank and Grow Rich, what she does is she talks about the power of gratitude and fun. And her big idea that we focused on last week was the idea of joy, not as a reward for doing things right, but as a mechanism for moving your life in the right direction. So I've got this chart because if you look, it starts way at the bottom at shame and guilt, apathy, grief, fear, goes all the way past anger to courage, neutrality, willingness. Acceptance is where joy is. Joy is, we're joyful when you accept, look, the world's here and it's wonderful. And when you're willing or able to jump up into joy, to express joy in your life, one, it's contagious. It will catch with other people. And two, it moves you. If you look at these labels, we've got, hell, purgatory, in between. It gets us all up to in between. Not quite paradise, but in that direction. And out of all the stuff you don't want. So that was last week. This week, we are looking at beneathness. And just to define it, beneathness it's the stuff you can't see. I'm going to start off talking about how the earth is full of beneathness. But there's also beneathness within yourself, that these parts of us they're part of our history. We find them when we look within, but they're not necessarily out and open for everybody. And this beneathness, this part of our interior, is something that's valuable to connect with. There's also beneathness in the ocean, in lakes. I was paddling my kayak and somehow managed to step into the ocean and flip my kayak over. And yet my phone works again. Thank you, modern technology. But the beneathness holds you up when you're paddling around or swimming. And when you can go down and see who lives underneath. But this will be, it's nice to include that in the world, to know that when you see the ocean, when you see the lake, it isn't just all on the surface, there's a lot below. So, of course, I love the book this reading's from is Lyanda Lynn Haupt, Rooted, Life at the Crossroads of Science, Nature, and Spirit. And Lyanda loves to walk barefoot. And as everybody here can see, and now even the people at home can see, I love to walk barefoot too. And I was walking barefoot in the woods because I liked reading about her walking barefoot in the woods. You know, she and I think we are always standing on holy ground, and that is one of the things. When you're wearing shoes, it's not that your feet lose their senses, but it's like putting a blindfold on them. It's harder for them to perceive everything. They still can, because we have other senses other than touch that our feet are involved in. And I feel holy ground literally walking shoeless. So when I walk around barefoot, it increases my ecological knowledge of the places in unexpected ways. When I'm watching where I step, I see these days you see lots of leaves of lots of different colors and textures. Some of them are soft and spongy, some of them are crunchy. You know, they all have different textures and different amounts of give. You also will find feathers, fungus. It's a big time of year for fungus. Slugs, of course. We love our gastropods. Tracks from the tiny feet of animals or birds. Sometimes you see those in the muddy trail. And sometimes you see all kinds of small living things on the trail or near the trail. Sometimes when you just stop in the woods and just pay attention, you can feel the beneathness. You can sense, and you probably sense this just as well with shoes, is you can feel that there's life underneath the dirt. You can feel the softness, and you know there are vibrations under there. There are grubs living under there, there are larvae, there are worms, there are moles, all digging, and what they do is when the leaves fall, they decompose and then they become part of the dirt. And so do all the animals that live in the dirt become part. And so this mixture of life and death, of living and decomposing, is all, you know, sort of magical and wondrous and creates a beautiful earth. When I dug a garden in my backyard, when I first picked the patch, it was hard. It was full of gravel and dirt and lots of minerals, not much organic content. But I dug it up and I added a lot of organic content to it and then put plants in it. And after growing things there for several years, it is soft, deep, rich soil, and when I can stick my hand into it. I don't need pickaxes anymore. And it's full of worms. And the worms are, you know, as they go, they eat the dirt and they create fertilizer. And so, and when they die, they contribute their bodies to even more fertilizer. And so this is the way the beneathness sort of enriches our lives. Let's go to the next slide. So I don't know if any of you have seen, this is the time of year when the crows come and dig up everybody's yard. Not everybody's yard, some people's yards. Actually, I don't think they've made it to Ballard, but we really had a neighborhood full of them when we lived in Renton. Anybody see the crows doing this? Okay. Oh, okay, quite a few people. So it's interesting, because when I first saw it, I thought, what are the crows doing? But there were lots of crows, and they were all over, pecking at the ground. And of course, I can't see it. Even when I go and stand on it, it's just muddy. I can't see what they've got. But if you see, this crow at the top has a little bright green thing in its beak. That is a European cather beetle larvae. And what happened, these came to this area. The first ones were spotted in Tequila 10 years ago. And they haven't spread much because our crows are at work doing pest control. If there are no crows eating them, what they do is they eat the roots of all your grass. And then you just have dirt or, you know, some kind of weeds that the grubs don't like will take over. But the crows will come and eat them, And in addition, they also, if you notice, they're making holes in the yard. They aerate, thank you. I paid somebody many years ago to aerate my yard, and at first I felt like a dupe because it just made my yard muddy, and there were lots of holes in it. But I noticed that over a year or two, the yard became much softer and much more easy to grow things in, and so aeration is actually a wonderful thing. The crows do it for free as a byproduct of their service of getting rid of these pests that want to kill your grass. So the crows are in tune with beneathness. So within us, there's more beneathness that's good, that's really helps our well-being. And you know what we have the good, the bad, and the ugly from our past. In fact, it's standing up is optional, but there's a Tai Chi move. Remember back when we used to do 5-element Tai Chi? I'm only doing 2 things. I'm doing embrace tiger, return to mountaintop. And when you embrace the tiger, the tiger is your life so far, cuddly and fierce. It's the good, the bad, and the ugly of your life. Your life so far is dangerous and can jump up and surprise you unexpectedly. It also has lots of richness and love and attachment. And then return to the mountaintop. The mountaintop is it's your Buddha brain. It's your Buddha self. It's the part of us that's part of God. It's the heaven in us. So you can do this sitting or standing up, but let's just allow ourselves to embrace the tiger that is our life so far, cuddly and fierce, and return to the mountaintop, the stillness that's always within us. So once again, embrace the tiger that is our life so far, return to mountaintop, the quiet, the stillness, the vast space. One more time, embrace the tiger. This is our beneathness within us. We love it, and we have to pay attention because it's got claws and teeth. Return to the mountaintop, where we're always safe, it's always still, we're always present. The mountaintop is a part of us that lives outside of time and space, so it's always in the same, always there. Thank you. So by knowing what's inside you, by being willing to confront. Sometimes you're confronting what's inside you, sometimes you're embracing what's inside you. That's why we like to embrace the tiger, is because even if what's inside you is a little scary or you don't want to look at it, or you really welcome it, it's nice to embrace it. It's nice to welcome it, because that way you know that everything inside you, your body has put there as a way to keep you safe, keep you happy. It's just, because some of these programs were put in there when we were very young, we didn't understand how our lives would be different and how it wouldn't be helpful to run away from the teacher or hide under the desk. So embracing ourselves allows our different personalities to keep us safe without, we can negotiate the means. So we can be on the alert, and then by embracing the tiger, we can bring it up to our current age and have it be a helper. I'm going to talk about, Eric Butterworth is a minister who wrote Spiritual Economics, and Spiritual Economics has a bunch of precepts, but the main ones, we start with, abundance is already yours. Abundance is part of your nature, and so it's not something you have to find, it's something that you recognize, it's within you. And abundance is not merely abundance with money, it's abundance with money and family and love and creativity and attention and ideas. The second point of spiritual economics is that when we work, we're exercising our creativity. We prefer that work not be drudgery, that work be fun, that work be creative, and this allows us to use more of ourselves in our work, our tiger and our mountaintop. Sometimes you see lack consciousness, and whenever I find myself in lack consciousness, I think of a saying that I saw in many corporations I worked for. The beatings will not stop until morale improves. And this is when we find ourselves in lack consciousness, we're really beating ourselves up because we don't like feeling the lack. And so when I think of that, that brings the laughter, which is a little bit of joy, which helps free me from the lack consciousness. So I'm going to talk about a woman named Anna, who was born in 1846, and she transformed the world. She was born in the John River, which is at the border of New Brunswick and Quebec. And her father was a sea captain, and he decided that being a sea captain was a nice career, but he really didn't get to see his family enough because the sea voyages in 1846 could last a long time. So they moved to Wisconsin, where there was rich soil and they could start a farm. And so Anna managed to find a gentleman named Melville Bissell, and they got married when she was 19. And they started a business together. It was a crockery business. And crockery in those days, they're ceramics, they easily break, so you have to pack them so that they're padded so they don't break. And the padding that they used then was sawdust, because they hadn't invented plastic wrap or really many other kinds. There was lots of sawdust for them. But when they'd bring the crates in to open it up and see the crockery, the sawdust would inevitably spill out on the floor. And there was too much of it. And it was decades before they'd invent the vacuum cleaner. All they had for getting rid of all this sawdust were like brooms, and when you swept it up, it like raised dust all over the house. You could like roll up the carpets and bring it outside and beat it, and then there's even more dust, and you have to bring it back in. And this sawdust was making her life miserable. She's like, I can't breathe the air because it's full of sawdust. I don't want trees in my lungs. I can't, how can we fix this? And she and her husband, it turns out they're the Steve Jobs and Steve Wozniak of the late 1800s, because she knew, she had the vision of what it needed to be. It needed to be an easy, fun way to get rid of all this stuff. And her husband, Melville, with her help, managed to invent this thing, which, there it is. It's a carpet sweeper. Right, that's right, you go like that. It's funny, because my Aunt Joyce used it every day of her life. My Aunt Joyce in London. And my kids, when I was little, I had one because the kids loved to do it, because it was a way for them to clean up, and all they had to do is go like that. They didn't have to think about it. They didn't need a dustpan. They just go like that, and the carpet's clean. And this, let's look at, so this is the patent application, and you can see it's got the sweepers, and then it has these compartments are where it captures the dust and doesn't let it get out, but it just keeps it in there, and you can go outside and dump it out so that you don't have to breathe it. This says, Melville Bissell says, the object of my invention is to adapt it to sweeping carpets and floors with uneven surfaces more readily than ordinary sweeper. Well, the other thing they did more readily than ordinary sweeper was they kept the dust inside it, so the person sweeping didn't have to breathe it. Anna was ebullient. Whenever people came into their crockery store, she'd show off the sweeper and they'd say, I want to buy one. And she went to other towns and she told people about this. Has changed your life. You don't need all that dust in the air. It's so easy to sweep. And everybody said, I'll buy them. She was their top salesman always. And they had, so they were manufacturing more and more. And then when she was 43, Melville died of pneumonia. And this is where lack consciousness could have come in. because Anna at that point had 5 children and no husband. She was a single mother of 5 children. And what was she going to do? Well, she knew what she was going to do. She was going to take over as CEO and run the company right. So the first thing she did, actually, it's funny because we wouldn't ask this if she had died, what happened to the children. But she did. The children had, all their grandparents were nearby, so they had lots of grandparent help. And of course, they were very well off, and so I'm sure they had nannies as well. Their children were well taken care of. And she started studying patents and trademarks so she could get their patent going in all the different countries they were selling it in. They sold it all over Europe. They sold it in North and South America. She had a manufacturing plant in Grand Rapids, Michigan, in Canada, and one in England. It was Queen Victoria was her most famous customer. Queen Victoria insisted that every carpet in every palace that she owned be bisseled twice a week, at least. And they were making 1,000 of these every single day. And it turns out Bissell is still in business. People probably know this. They're $1 billion. They make close to $1 billion a year most years. So she created a successful business, and she did it by being creative, by knowing of her bounty within, by being creative at work and working together to be creative. She wanted to change and transform the world. She'd go to people and she'd say, "Aren't you tired of dirty carpets and all this dust all over your house? Don't you want to live in a clean house where you can breathe the air and it's fresh and your carpet isn't full of sawdust?" Yes! Everybody wanted that. So she died at 88 years old in 1934, but she left behind 5 children and her soon-to-be billion-dollar company. And everybody had clean floors. They did eventually invent vacuum cleaners, which is why not all of us use the carpet sweepers anymore. But Aunt Joyce did until the day she died. She was like, vacuum schmacuum. This doesn't have a cord. Just clean my carpet. So our lives, souls, and histories are holy ground. They're rich with the sacredness of every experience that shape us. When we look within us, we look at the good, the bad, and the ugly, and it's all part of us. It's all part of the tiger that's our life so far. So we want to embrace beneathness in all its forms. We want to, I'm looking, one of the things I want to do is ask everybody, I think this is a good time to ask everybody how Genesis lifts us up. So I want to bring us for like a brief interior experience. And I'll explain, this has to do with our sound bath and mandala creation. Part of what we're going to do for the mandala is we're going to write on shells or paper or rocks one word that expresses how Genesis lifts us up. So let's just for a second, let's dive into some of our beneathness. Let's open our hearts and let's open up to appreciation. Appreciation of Genesis, appreciation of the founders, of Genesis' long history, our history in getting to Genesis. And right now, here we are in Genesis as it is today, from its storied past, not into its storied future now, but right in our beautiful present. And as we lay back into that love, into that openness, into that history, we open our minds, we open our ears and our senses. And there's a word. It may come as a feeling. It may come as a picture. It may come as a sound. What in Genesis lifts you up? What in Genesis lifts you up? And let's just take a deep inhalation, knowing that if you haven't got the word yet, it will soon come to you at the right and perfect time. And so taking another inhalation, let's return our awareness from our beneathness into the room. So today, we've looked at our beneathness, and I encourage us to do this as we walk out the door, look through life. As I drive on the roads, I think of the road as being the beneathness that allows me, dodging potholes a little bit, but mostly it's a pretty smooth ride. We've got the beneathness that helps us grow our gardens, the beneathness within us, our tiger, and within the water, which we can either stay on top of or jump into. So all this beneathness is something, even though we're open at the top, we're also open at the bottom and in between. Think about other beings helping us out without us even thinking about it. Like the crows, where you think they're messing up your lawn, but what they're doing is they're aerating it and they're getting rid of the larvae that want to kill your grass. Think about Anna Bissell, she was, by the way, the first woman CEO in America. In 1889, she became that and continued as CEO and chairman for the next 40 years. But she was undaunted by the death of her partner, and she was willing to recognize her creativity and to make a world a better place. She really wanted to transform people's lives by improving where they lived. So Ernest Holmes said, "I accept my good and gladly acknowledge it to be my daily companion. My good is mine now, and I can see it and feel it and know it. My good is mine now." So we don't have to wait for our good. There is that within me, more Ernest Holmes, that calls forth abundance and happiness from life. There is that within me which calls forth abundance and happiness from life. I am surrounded with an atmosphere of peace, poise, and power. Peace, poise, and power. Thank you, Ernest Holmes, for this teaching. So let's trust the beliefness. Let's say our affirmation twice together. I trust the beneathness within me where my strength and stability lie. I trust the beneathness within me where my strength and stability lie. And so I think as we go forth, we can trust our beneathness. As anybody who can stay for the workshop, I encourage you to do it. I think we have a suggested love offering of $10, but anything that you want to enjoy it. And there will be the mandala, so there will be the opportunity, even if you can't stay, write down your word of what in Genesis lifts you up. You know, there is a reason we're here, and hopefully it's because we're uplifted. I certainly am. Now it's time for our prayer cards. I encourage you to start with a prayer demonstration, writing down anything that you've managed to manifest in your life will help make your prayers come true, because that way your body knows the reality of the power of prayer. And then prayers, of course, you can write down prayers for yourself, for gratitude, for anybody else. And it goes to our practitioners who powerfully pray over it every night, giving it that much more consciousness and energy. And now more of the beautiful music of Becky and Matt.
We're going to do, instead of a feature, we're going to do more of a sing-along and have you guys join us. And so we'll sing through it a couple times, have you guys come in, and then, of course, we'll change the lyrics on you because, you know, that's what you do. Just below the surface, something is stirring. Just below the surface, something is stirring. Just below the surface, rise up, sleeper, and awaken. So there we go. So something is a stirring just below the surface. Say that 3 times, then rise up, sleeper, and awaken. So we'll just keep I'll throw out what the next lyric is.
Here we go.
Something is a stirring just below the surface. Something is stirring just below the surface. Something is stirring just below the surface. Rise up, sleeper, and awake again. Something is stirring just below the surface. Something is stirring just below the surface. Something is stirring just below the surface. Rise up, sleeper, and awaken. Can't you hear it beating? Can't you hear it beating? Just below the surface. Can't you hear it beating? Just below the surface. Can't you hear it beating? Just below the surface. Rise up, sleeper, and awaken. Can't you feel it moving? Can't you feel it moving? Just below the surface. Can't you feel it moving? Just below the surface. Can't you feel it moving? Just below the surface. Rise up, sleeper, and awaken. Back, something is a stirring. Something is a stirring. Just below the surface. Something is a stirring. Just below the surface. Something is a stirring. Just below the surface. Rise up, sleeper, and awaken. Rise up, sleeper, and awaken. One more time. Rise up, sleeper, and awaken.
Thank you, Matt and Becky. Becky and Matt. I always do it backwards. I don't know why that is.
Becky and Matt?
Yes.
Matt, yeah.
Becky and Matt.
Becky and Matt.
Okay. So now is the time that we will be taking our offering. Genesis is a community dedicated to love, inspiring harmony, and creating connections to empower spiritual growth. And we love that you are here to share in that with us. This is an invitation to participate in circulation, to connect with abundance and generosity. Your participation makes all this possible, and we truly appreciate your support. So let us take a moment to craft our financial gift. If you are on Facebook, please visit our website at genesiscsl.org, or you can text your tithe to 206-800-7595.
Because I believe in love, I give. Because I believe in love, and love
your offering and your prayer card and hold them up to your heart. And we will say our offering prayer together. Divine love, through me, blesses and multiplies all that I am, all that I have, all that I give, and all that I receive, and I am thankful. And now Gideon will come around and collect your offerings and your prayer cards. If you filled out a pledge card, you can also throw that into the offering basket. So it is with deep gratitude that we receive these gifts, recognizing the power of stepping into that flow of divine goodness. We allow ourselves to receive as we give, embracing the circulation of bounty for all. And so it is. Thank you for joining us today. If you would join us after the service for food and fellowship, that would be great. I will be in the alcove over here for those of you that would like prayer. Wishing everyone a week filled with joy, love, and connection. If you'd please stand and sing our closing song together, We Rise.